All right, let's continue with chapter 8 and tackle the task, which is right here. And then also open a new Prax design and landscaping. So you will delete everything that we did before and start new. All right, so we're going to do everything but the last two items, which are the budget and the budget, which is the budget creating and reporting. So we cannot do this with this subscription. We have to wait until we get into the puppy love. All right, set up an account for prepaid rent and create the payment. All right, let's set up an account. Prepaid payment is an asset account. We're going to put that under prepaid expenses, and we're going to call it prepaid rent. Okay, save. So we have done this, and then we're paying a check with a check, and the payee is Downtown Storage. The date is 10/1/26, and the check number is 10075. So now in the category, we're going to say prepaid rent. And I will say 6 months rent on a storage unit for some equipment. The amount is $900. And we're going to say save and close. All right, so next is record the prepaid rent expense and make it recurring. Okay, so recording the expense, we're going to say journal entry. The first is going to be on the 31st. And we're going to expense rent. Which is an expense account. Under rent or lease of building. And we're going to name it rent expenses. Save and close. Of course not. Then we're going to prorate it for 1/6 of the prepaid amount. And what you can do, you can enter the 900, divide by 6, and it will automatically come to 150. In the description, we're going to say monthly rent payment, rent expenses, and no name. And then the counter account is prepaid rent. And it will repeat whatever we entered here, just on the opposite side. We can say save, and we could technically look into our journal entry, but we also need to make it recurrent. And we are going to name that one rent expense. And they say make it recurrent. We're paying it, or we're expensing it at the end of the month. So we're going to say last month. It's once a month. And we're going to start on 10/31/2026. And we're going to stop after 6 times because it's for 6 rents. Okay, so we're going to say save. And if you now go into your recurring transactions, you will see that the rent expenses are right here. So next one is create a new fixed asset. So Greg bought something. He bought a small bobcat and he made a $5,000 down payment and the rest he will finance. Okay, so we can say plus, and here it says Greg wrote a check to finance it. Okay, so there are multiple things we have to do here. I'm going to start with a check and I hope I can enter everything I have to. So we're going to start with the payee, which is WF Finance, and it's not in the system, so we're just going to enter it here. Then we're paying with a check, partially. We're going to get to the rest in a minute, and it's on October 3rd. Check number is 76 at the end, and it's going to be S1, or how you can say that, small. I feel like it's equipment. Okay, let's see, equipment, open balance. Okay, let's just S150 Bobcat S150. So it's a fixed asset. And let's see if we can find equipment. So machinery and equipment. Okay, that would be the one I would choose. Save and close. Description is Bobcat S150. The amount is $22,000. Okay, so this is what he's supposed to pay, but then also we have finance. WF Finance gives them the opportunity to finance it. So we're going to say long-term liability. See if we can make it happen. Now always look here to, it's a 25th. Okay, it's 36 months, so it's a long-term liability. And we only have this. So let's put in Bob at S150 loan. Okay, we're going to create that as a long-term liability. And it's technically a notes payable, but let's just choose other long-term liabilities as we did that before. Let's verify that we did exactly that before. Here, so yes, we used other long-term liabilities for the purpose of this book. When you work in your career, you just have to make the decision on your own, or there are already some regulations in your company implemented that you have to use. Okay, so we have Bobcat S150 loan, save and close. And now we're just going to say Bobcat S150, and we're financing $17,000, which is the difference between the $5,000 we have to pay down and the $22,000 the Bobcat actually cost. So after this has been done, we can just save and close it. So here they told us we have to create this and this, and then we also have to add W Finance. And by putting it all into the purchase record, all this we could do in one shot. We didn't have to go to the chart of account and add all of this stuff on. But if you work in an accounting field and you have to set up accounts, you really need to check if accounts exist already. For the purpose of this book, of course, that didn't exist yet. Okay, so now we're transferring the funds for the payment of the Bobcat loan and make a payment recurring for 36 months. The payment on the Bobcat loan will be automatically deducted from Greg's bank account on the 25th of every month for 36 months beginning November 2026. Payment amount is $473. Okay, transfer from checking to the Bobcat loan, $473. And then we're going to say payment Bobcat S150 loan. And the more specific you are about the numbers, the better it is, because at some point you may have different types of Bobcats, and then you know, oh, okay, this belongs to that one. Sometimes you have inventory numbers that you also associate with each other, makes it all a little easier. Okay, so, and then it says payment will be automatic on the 25th of every month. Okay, beginning November 26th. Okay, make recurring. I'm gonna call that Bobcat S150 loan payment monthly on the 25th. Starting date November, so it's going to be 11/25th, 2026, and it's going to end after 36 occurrences. Transfers from checking to this, and there's a negative checking balance, so we're just disregarding this right now. Usually you should not have a negative balance. Okay, so that looks good to me. Let's check this one more time. 25th, beginning November, payment 473. Okay, so we're going to save the template. And you can see that we have the rent expense and the Bobcat S50 loan payment. For the recurring transaction list in the PDF format, so this would be here, and you would just print, save it as a PDF, and be done with it. You just have to look into Dr. Lambert's task list for that chapter, what you have to do, screenshots, PDF, or whatever. So that would be it. And then the last task for this side here is set up a petty cash account. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, new. It's in bank account. Could it be an Aslan? Okay, so we're going to put that in bank account, and then I'm going to say cash on hand, and we're going to name it petty cash. All right, save. And it says, Craig requested a petty cash fund of $100 for making change and paying for small purchases, and the check number. So he wrote a check, probably a cashier check, for $100. Cashier. And that was on October 1st. Petty cash. And there are multiple ways to do that. You could just go and take the cash and make a transfer out of it. You don't usually have to use a check. He just uses a check. There are so many ways to deal with this kind of stuff. And then you also have other accounts like Venmo or whatever you use. So that will also be kind of like a new bank account, because if there's money sitting in that Venmo account, you have to account for that too. So these types of things are not always the same. We're just doing it this way for the purpose of this book. Okay, so we have the right date, we have the right amount, we have the right checking number, and yep, we're good to go. We're closing it. Now we have cash on hand, $100. And we say we use petty cash to reimburse an employee. So because we're using the petty cash, we're paying it right now, and it's not a check, so it should be an expense. We don't have to put the employee's name in here because the employee is not a vendor, and we're using the petty cash to pay for it. It does not give us a specific date, so we're just leaving it. And it was fuel, which is a sub account of automobile, and reimbursement fuel purchase, and it's $24.25, and save and close. Don't forget to take your screenshots, whatever you have to do. And since we cannot do this, we're done with tackle your task, and I'm going to continue on the reinforce your skills in another video.